First one is Mayor Yu's report. After a year of being in the mayor's chair and trying to understand the public safety issue around Prince George, I really truly feel strongly that we need a committee, a standing committee, to deal with public safety. We are at the hub, transportation hub of BC. And over the years, crime statistic is not really show us in a great light. And we do have issues the citizen want to address. So with the council's privilege, I would like to create a standing committee on public safety. And the term of reference is posted online. And due to the structure of the committee, I would like to invite 3 of my councillors join me on the committee. And I select them for a reason, no in particular order. Councillor Brian Skaken has been on the council for longest, so I'm looking towards his leadership in terms of guide the committee to really understand the problem we have in front of us. And Councillor Trudy Claassen has recently been to Saskatchewan to talk about and learn a lot about the crime statistic, as well as she herself has been to various hotspots in Prince George over the last years. I think she will add a value to committee. And Councillor Polillo, he chaired the Crime Stopper over the years. I think he has a tremendous knowledge and insight to offer in terms of dealing with this very important topic of public safety. And I will also gonna write a various invite to various members of a community who has experience and insight into this particular area of interest and importance to our cities. So, and then the form announced their name will be after I send out the invitation, and then they will say yes or no, then we'll go from there. And of course, their value will be much appreciated. And this committee, we will host a lot of information session as well. We will be inviting the public to come forward to do their presentation. But foremost, I would like to first of all, they should email me and email the committees and to say what they would like to talk about and what is the solution they see. And so we will have a lot of public session in terms of inviting people in as well. So having said that, this is my recommendation to the council. Because appointing a standing committee is the mayor's privilege, so there's no vote is required. I just simply ask a vote to receive the information as I presented right now. Move, Councillor Scott. Second, Councillor Claassen. All in favor to receive? Oh, sorry, my apology. I didn't.
Thank you very much, Worship. And just actually a question on the terms of reference.
Thank you.
I believe the community will also have great interest in the work this standing committee is doing. So I'm just wondering if there's a reporting mechanism back at the public table around the work that the committee is doing.
Yeah, the standing committee is no different from the standing committee of financing and intergovernmental. All councillor is ex officio, and also the RCMP as well as the DBIA will be part of the ex officio as well. And so they'll be attending the meeting, and the staff will be providing a clerk to record the proceedings as well as putting on the proper minutes. And if any decision has taken require council's recommendation or council decision will be referred to the council as a whole. And that's what's the procedure. Councilor Skegan?
Well, thank you, Worship, and thanks for asking me to be on this committee. I think it's long overdue, but now that you're, comfortable in the chair, I think, we can hit the ground running. I mean, we've talked about presentations from groups and individuals in the community. We, develop actionable items, bringing them back to council at some point. But I really think that the community consultation is going to be big. And I think that we also, as we go through this, Your Worship, identify what our role is, what the role of the provincial government is, what the role of the federal government is in a number of these issues where there's some intersection in that. And tonight on the agenda, we'll be talking a little bit about some of the stuff down at Moccasin Flats with the fires and things like that. So I think it's important that people hear where we're coming from, but more important, we want to be able to get community feedback and listen to these folks, be it one-on-one in front of the committee or with a group. But I'm definitely willing to get to work, Your Worship. So thanks for the invite, and I'm looking forward to getting more feedback from the community. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Klassen?
Thank you, Your Worship. And just like Councillor Skegan said, I'm honoured to be asked to serve on this committee, and I hope that we don't earn the title of Do Nothing Committee. So I'm going to try really hard for that. Just one question, because we know that the best solutions come from the people on the ground. How do you think this committee is going to be interacting with people on the ground who have firsthand knowledge of the issues and have, are you welcoming people to come forward with solutions, or what's your plan there?
Well, I think it's to know the problem of any problem is one thing. To fully understand it, it requires information exchange. And all knowledge eventually should lead to some form of action to produce a result, to tangibly reduce the crime as well as to make citizens feel safe in every part of the city. And so, of course, when I ran, I always try to tell people I'm a 3A mayor. I want to be most accessible, most accountable, and action-oriented. So I hope that all the committee members will do the same. And now your name is known to the community. Citizens should feel free to contact you, to talk about the safety issues, how they see it. And then because this meeting will be open to the public, just like tonight, so people will able to do a public presentation, and we will invite them to first give us a short email or letter, and to say which area of they will be talking about, as well as what do they see, how long they've been here, and what is the reference. And we, the committee, also, we would like to learn a lot from other jurisdictions to see what might be a different way to deal with some of the situations. Like when you went to Saskatoon, you deal with a lot of you were talking to a lot of communities. They facing a similar some of the statistics like we facing Prince George. So we will continue this conversation as a committee to other standing committee throughout the country to learn from each other. And then this is through the work of FCM, UBCM, we will, as a committee, will recommend advocacies to the intergovernmental, and as well as you two sitting on in the finance committee, see if there's some kind of a budget required to be massaged to deal with this public safety where everybody is so concerned about, and which they rightly so, because too many events last year since I became a mayor. It was happened to our beloved city, and it's not acceptable. So we need to do something. So that's why this committee is there, and I'm now looking forward to your participation.
Oh, thank you, Your Worship. And just a few more questions. The Downtown Strategy and Implementation Team, we commissioned a $64,000 report. What are the chances that that we are going to actually be not just spending money or time. I mean, at this point, we're not looking at spending anything other than time, but what are sort of, how can we prevent that from just, like, are you going to be using the information that, the data that has already been collected? And then the other part of this question is, we know that data is incredibly important to get any meaningful change and action so that you can actually measure what's going on. How do you propose that these things are going to be addressed?
Yeah, that's why, this committee, we will also reach out to various organizations in town to share some of the data, to learn from each other. And of course, we will, the first meeting, I would love to have our CMPs to advise us, what is the data available to us, how we can interpret and use these data to form a area of discussion. So as a detail regarding the financial things, I think this is maybe today is we are just announcing the meeting. Committee, it might be a little bit too early to discuss that in the detail today. Yeah.
Okay, and then my last question is, are you hoping that, because one thing that we've talked a lot about, and maybe not in public as much, but the duplication of services, and do you think that's something, I know that this is something that I've heard a lot about downtown and those people who are working on issues downtown. Do you think that this committee might have an opportunity to work on that?
Yes, definitely. That's why DBIA will have a seat as an ex official. So DBIA will be here all the time, but my downtown, including east of Queensway, I just want everybody to know. So my downtown is not just this side of Queensway, but the entire area from the river all the way to Victoria. To me, we need to address everything holistically, and we need to listen to the people. Their life might be affected, and any actions taken or not, we need to consult, we need to discuss, and we need to find the best practices. So that's the intent, what we try to do here.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's slightly terrifying, but we'll go try our best.
Yes. When it's going to be interesting, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. Councilor Ramsey.
Thanks, Your Worship. Just a couple questions from me. I'm just wondering if maybe you can expand on the 3 members appointed by you from the community, and perhaps what facet of the community those members might represent.
I look at the workload of my council foremost, first of all, right? And then I also take a look at our other 2 standing committee right now, Intergovernmental and Committee of Financing. In time, if I feel there's a need, I might appoint people to the Finance Committee as well, as a standing committee. But the 3 people is the reason is that they have to be a majority has to be council members. It has the maximum 4 on this committee by the rule of term of engagement. And standing committee cannot have more than 4 councillors. And then the councillor should be the majority, and there'll be 3 members from the public to be invited to joining. And this expanding, I haven't written an invite letter yet. These people will have experience to deal with First Nations, corrections, security. They will have a tremendous knowledge in the policing as well. And so together with working with a 4-member I discussed, including myself, I think we should be able to balance our point of view, and in order to receive the information in a non-biased way, and so that everybody get their voice to address this piece.
Thanks, Your Worship. I'm just wondering what are the benefits of having this as a standing committee versus a select committee? I know we had the select committee on poverty reduction, and there was myself and Councillor Krause on that, along with 7 community members. It just seems like there's an opportunity to have more members of the community representing on this committee?
Yeah, it's we can pivot from there. It's nothing's cast in stone. So standing committee is a mayor's initiative. So I put this initiative forward, and if in the months and the years ahead, if this committee is ineffective and we're not seeing the tangible result, then of course we can call other task force as well as a subcommittee as well, to selective committee as well, to deal with maybe a more specific piece regarding the public safety. This piece is more or less Prince George as a whole, and but we do want to put an emphasis a little bit more in the downtown area. And currently, last year we experienced quite a lot of incidents, and it's very unpleasant for the people here.
Okay, thank you. And if members of the community are interested in sitting on this committee and being appointed by you, would the best way to kind of put their name forward be to get in touch with you, or will communications be putting
Absolutely.
out a call for expressions of interest?
If today, that's why I haven't finished writing the letter of invitation yet, right? So if people interested, yes, but this is the mayor's prerogative to select who I think is the most balanced our talent on the council as a whole.
Okay, thank you for that. And then I will just flag perhaps one item for this committee moving forward, and that is the RCMP Auxiliary Program, which has been launching, is launching currently, campaigning. And my understanding from sitting on the RCMP Local Government Contract Management Review Committee is that it is not necessarily a decision of the RCMP detachment. It is supposed to be a decision of council, as there is a monetary implication to that. So I am curious if the committee will be reviewing that and making a recommendation to council.
Absolutely, because you are ex-official, and all council member is welcome to attend the meeting to bring this matter forward. RCMP is, in the terms of reference, they will be the ex-official to attend all our meeting as well. So this particular item will be discussed, how to best use the resources in certain area. But we need to find out a hotspot, find out the reason why some of the incident had taken place in the greater detail. Perhaps Crime Stopper was the best way to deal with some issue. That's why Councilor Ron Palillo is on it. So I try to, I've given a lot of thought about, this committee, whether it's selecting committee or standing committee. And I just want to give a try. I feel there's some success. We have met as a council in the form of, chaired by you, Finance Committee, as well as by GARS in the intergovernmental. And I found the format is quite good. But from time to time, we might have to add public in participation into those committees as well. So, and we'll pivot. It's not cast in stone, so we'll see how we go.
Thanks, Your Worship. Just one final comment. So once the community members are selected, can we publish that on our channels just so community knows who to get in touch with if they have items that they'd like to bring to the community's attention?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
absolutely.
you.
That is the intent. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Ramsey. Councilor Sampson.
Well, thanks very much, Your Worship, and thanks for this. Councilor Ramsey kind of asked a piece of my question. I just was looking for a bit further clarity on it. Sorry, I'm just not clear. Is there going to be an expression of interest, opportunity for application for members of the public who are interested in the committee? Sorry, I'm just not clear on the process for.
Well, as I said before, as a mayor, I am open up to, the application. Whatever people on the committee, they might quit after the first meeting. They may not like the way I chair the meeting. So always good to have a set of people want to join in, right? Always. This is not a bad thing. And if we cannot fit them into this particular committee, nothing stops us as a council to create other task force and, to People need to be heard. Their voice will be heard.
I guess I'm just not clear, sorry, Your Worship, on the process of how they share that they're interested. That's where I'm lacking. Sorry, I'm just not.
Well, I have done a year of research on who I think in this juncture of a city's history that perhaps will be best served on the committee for the time being. They may not accept my invitation. And I will invite, people they think they have a lot to contribute. They can contribute just by talking to us or by attending the meeting or by directly submit their name as potential candidates, of course.
And the process to do that is by emailing the mayor, or is it by submitting an
My
application
email
on our website?
is always open to everybody. My phone number is always known to everybody in the community.
I appreciate that. I guess I'm just wondering what the process is. Is the process to send an email? Is the process to fill in a form online?
Whichever way.
Oh,
Just
okay.
get in touch with me.
Okay, thanks very much. Under number 2 on the terms of reference, if they can be brought up, just trying to understand and learn a little bit more about under the purpose and mandate, the goals of the committee. So just if you don't mind sharing a little bit more about what your goals are, metrics of success. I guess using Councillor Clausen's term, what are the desired outcomes that will make this a do something committee? What are those goals?
The goal is to make every citizen feel safe in every part of Prince George. That's our goal. And in order to do that, we may not get there in one step. We have to point the community in the right direction. We need to, using the past crime statistic as a reference point, and that's why Councillor Clausen went to the national committee to talk about how these statistics was compiled and how they reference to Prince George. So we need to understand these from a statistic point of view and as well as from the root cause, some of the issues, the root cause. And then as we as a community together, then we'll put forward action plans to reduce the crime rate, to have the citizen feel safe in every part of Prince George.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Councilor Brazil.
Well, thank you, Mayor Yu, and really interesting to see this and to look forward to the results from looking into the collection of crime statistics and the best practices that you can pull from other jurisdictions.
Yes.
Also, the flexibility that you've left the committee, because public safety can be broadly interpreted not just to be about crime, but also about dealing with emergencies. Dealing with fires, dealing with emergency services. So you've got a very broad mandate that we, and I'll use the general we, you pointed out that all of us are on board with this, that we will use. Through to Mr. Babich on staffing. Are we looking at any augmentation to support the committee?
Thank you, Your Worship. The staff support for this committee would consist of a staff liaison as well as a legislative support person. Legislative support person would come from Legislative Services, and that would be the individual that would act as the parliamentarian and take minutes for the committee. Staff liaison, Your Worship, I was intending to attend these meetings on my own to begin with, to get a sense of the goals and objectives of the committee, and then we would be providing other additional staff support on a meeting-to-meeting basis, depending on what topics were being considered by the committee. So no additional resources are envisioned at this time, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Thanks, and I'm just draw attention to the wealth of expertise we got in analysis. The mathematics, statistics, computer science departments at our college and university are filled with some exceptional stars for analyzing statistics, if that's one of your key goals.
Yes, absolutely. And we also have to be very sensitive regarding there is OCAP in place. If there's data concerning the Indigenous First Nation, we have to make sure that the way we collect the data, the way we use the data, meet their expectations. So in the days ahead, I will be also meeting with Piana, the Prince George and the Chaco, and they have their some program collecting some of the data. We want to find the various data, see the relationship in terms of certain area and what happening. And also, I intend to have our first meeting perhaps before the June 27th, 28th. When we hosting the NCLGA to deal with mental health, drug addiction, and there some of the crime might be, it's related to drug as well. So we need to be aware of that as well. Yeah.
Thanks. And just as a final point, FCM's into a multi-year agreement with Statistics Canada, where there are experts at the national level collecting data. Yeah. It's still in its infancy, but it's really generating some good results. You mentioned national statistics to compare to. We've got connections.
Yes, through your work, our connection to FCM is solid. And 1997, the federal government already developed the HIFA system, HIFA. So these data, along with all the data, we can perhaps this committee reach out to various other jurisdictions, and then we can promote some advocates, some methodology to collect the data to share nationally, or then to understand the movement and what's really happening, in some of the areas. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Skaken.
Well, thank you, Worship. Just to build on who can be involved, I talked to a gentleman coming in and he wanted to apply in the committee, and I said you could get a hold of the mayor, but I said if you're not, you're more than welcome, like a lot of other folks, to come and make a presentation, and I think that's going to be important. And the other issue, sorry, Your Worship, I know you'd mentioned a time in June, and I know we're flexible, but I would hope that by the end of this week we're going to be able to pin down a time and, and in my opinion, no later than a month from now or whatever, find out what staff resources are, schedule a meeting, and get things going sooner than later. But that'll be your call. But I think people,
completely understand
supporting this yet. So.
Well, today is probably the last day of the 2024. I'm before summer wearing turtleneck. Spring is here. Everybody's busy. Got to coordinate a lot of a schedule, even among the 7 people. I will reach out to them. And again, the people say, why 7? Why not 8? But because the standing committee is structured that way. So, but I will welcome the participation of everybody. And this is not that I try to use a certain type of committees to, because we in the past we have tried a selective committee and then task force before. So the result, everybody knows what's the result. So let's try the standing committee and see how it goes. That's how I see it. Thank you. All good? Can we call to receive the information? All in favor? Opposed?
Did we vote already?
Carry. Okay. We haven't voted yet. Yeah. Thank you.